excited to finally be doing a video on this gun. This is my Ruger 1022 that I've owned for about maybe 7 or 8 years, something like that. It was actually the first gun I ever got. I kind of got into guns a little bit later than most people. I was in my early 20s. And so anyways, I decided I wanted this Ruger 1022 and I wanted to set it up just like this because I saw a video by Nutnfancy, which if you're not familiar with him, he's a very, very popular gun YouTuber. I'd be surprised if you're watching this and you don't know who that is. But anyways, I decided to get a Ruger 1022 and try and set it up. It's not identical to his, but he does have one that's in one of his videos that is very, very similar to this. So there's a couple differences and I'll get into all of that in a little bit. First off, I'll just kind of go over what a Ruger 1022 is and why I like them so much, just in case there's anybody here watching that doesn't own one or is thinking about getting one or something like that. But my guess is that most of you probably already own one and you just want to see my setup because that's what I do on YouTube. I like seeing other people's rifles and their setups. So anyways, let's just go ahead and get into this. Alright guys, first off I just want to mention that if you hear any weird sounds in the background, it's probably just my 6-month-old boxer puppy. He's kind of blocked off over in the living room. I didn't want him to come over here and knock all my lights over and just mess everything up. So anyways, if you hear anything, it's probably him. And then if I'm looking at my cell phone, which I will be, it's just because I've got some notes on here, some talking points. I just don't want to forget to mention a couple things. And so I'm using my phone instead of a sheet of paper or something like that. But anyways, what is a Ruger 1022? A Ruger 1022 is just a rifle that's chambered in .22 LR. It's been made by Ruger for about 55 years. Yeah, because it's 2019. So it's been made for about 55 years. And to be honest, I mean, any gun that's been around for 55 years was obviously ahead of its time and was well made because it wouldn't have lasted this long, right? So, I think the reason they're so popular, and to be honest, they are ridiculously popular. I don't know the stats, but I would guess it's the most popular .22 rifle in the country. And the reason it's so popular is because, like I said, they've been around for a long time because they're reliable. They're chambered in .22 LR, which anybody can shoot. If you're out with your family, you can have your kids shoot it, your parents, your grandma, anybody. Anybody can shoot one of these because they don't really have like hardly any recoil. And they're just fun guns and they're affordable. They're cheap because the ammo's cheap. You can get it in bulk for ridiculously cheap. And the guns themselves, they're not that much. Typically, well, they have tons of different models, but typically you can get them for a couple $100, $300 or whatever, depending on which model you get. But I think the thing that makes them the most fun is just how customizable they are. Obviously, you can see this thing's ridiculously tricked out. And I didn't really spend that much money on it. I didn't really get like fancy parts or like a $200 trigger or whatever. I just kind of did mostly cosmetic things. But anyways, they're just a lot of fun for those reasons. Anybody can shoot them, they're reliable, and they're probably the most customizable .22 that there is. There's a few others, but this one's definitely up there, probably at the top. So let's get into what this particular gun is. And by the way, if you are a new shooter or if you are new to this type of gun and you're wondering if you should get it, I'm just going to get that out of the way now and just say yes, I absolutely recommend it for all the reasons I just mentioned. But let's get into this particular gun, what it was before I turned it into this, and then what I did to it. So if you guys want this particular gun, you're going to want to get the tactical model 1261. And the reason I'm telling you guys the model number is because they have all kinds of different tactical models as well as other models. And so I just want to, make sure you guys know which one it is in case you want it. And the way it looked before this is it was just had a traditional stock and everything was black. So the stock was black and a synthetic black stock and all the metal, barrel, everything was black. But the reason I wanted this one is because of the flash suppressor. Obviously it's just a .22 and so you don't really need that. But it looks cool, at least to me it looks cool. And it kind of goes with the whole look that I was going for. And this is just a fun gun for me. So to me, doing all this stuff to it makes it fun. and so that went well with it. If you're looking for one with iron sights, this is not the one for you because, well, as you can see, it doesn't come with any iron sights. Normally they have those little flip-up irons and then the little bead in the front, but this one doesn't come with that because they probably just assume if you're getting this one, you're probably putting a little red dot or a little scope or something. But anyways, yeah, so it doesn't come with that. It has a 16-inch barrel, which is pretty standard. Well, to be exact, it's a 16.12 inch barrel. But anyways, that's pretty standard for them. And I think that's it. If you want to know the price, the MSRP is $359, so you'll probably find it for something around $299 or something. Now that we've got all that out of the way, let's just talk about this gun and what I did to it and how it's similar or different from Nutnfancy's gun. So first off, I put it in a Tapco stock. You know, there's a lot of people who kind of talk down about Tapco or say that they make cruddy products, and I don't really know. You know, I've never had any of their other products. This is the only one I've had, and it seems to work fine. So Nutnfancy used it, and he really liked it, and I've enjoyed it a lot as well. So the reason I got it is because it just gives you a lot more options than like a traditional rifle stock. Gives you a lot more versatility because I've got a rail on top if I wanted to put a flashlight or something, and I've got obviously a rail on the bottom where I put this little Magpul vertical grip. I like to kind of hold my guns like this, and so works out well. And then I put this little Magpul attachment that allowed me to put this sling on there, and this is a Vikings tactical sling. I don't remember where I got it or how much it cost because it was a long time ago, but it works good. It has this little like stretchy, it's got this little like bungee portion, and then this part's adjustable if you want to make it shorter or longer. So it works great. And then I Duracoated the whole thing. I just bought some of their aerosol cans. It's probably the easiest way to do it. Obviously there's Cerakote and probably other like paints as well, but Cerakote's probably the most popular gun coating that there is, but it costs a little bit more money, and so I went with Duracote. I tried to go with the same one that Nutnfancy used. Like I said, he inspired this gun for me, and so I was trying to make pretty much the same thing. I think it was Coyote Tan or Coyote Brown, something like that. And it's just like this light tan color. I don't know, I like it. It looks cool. And so after that, there's not really much left other than the sight. So everything's the same, except he probably didn't have this attachment in the sling. And I don't know if he had the same vertical grip. He might have had something different. Basically, the things that were the same is he had a red dot, he had this Tapco stock, and he Duracoated the whole thing, I believe, Coyote Tan. But anyways, I just kind of put a couple different attachments on there that I wanted. Plus, when he did his, I don't think the Vortex Spark 2 even existed. I'm not really sure, but this is a Vortex Spark 2. It's a really good little red dot. When I first got this gun, I bought a cruddy red dot from a gun show. I was new to guns, like I said, and I didn't really know much. And they convinced me that it was such a good sight, and it was under $100, so I was naive and I got it, and it was cool, and you'll probably see it in some of the footage, but it just didn't work out very well because I think it was only after like a year. I had only shot the gun a few times, like maybe 3 times or 4 times at the most, probably 3 or 4 times. I didn't do any heavy use. I wasn't slamming it on the ground. I was just shooting it. I have no clue what happened, but one time I went out to go shoot it and it was broken. By broken, I mean the little red dot inside was just all over the place, and there was loose pieces inside it. So I don't know what happened. It just kind of busted on its own. And then at this point, I knew more about guns. I'd been watching tons of YouTube. I had friends that liked guns, and so I was not dumb enough to repeat that. And I went with this Vortex Spark 2 that was somewhat new at the time. And it's been great. It comes with these little covers. It's adjustable. It's got the little battery in here. And it's got the adjustments here. You just take these caps off. and then you can adjust the windage or the elevation. And so also here, this is how you control it. You've got two buttons. One makes it brighter, one makes it dimmer. And then you hold the top one to turn it off, and to turn it back on, you just press it once. But anyways, that's the Vortex red dot for you. The reason I went with it is because I didn't want some cruddy cheap one. You know, there's obviously other good sights that don't cost quite as much, but there's also other ones like an aim point that cost way more. And so I didn't want to spend too much. I didn't want to get a piece of junk. So I went with this. I think it's around $150 or $200. I'm not sure. They might even have a better red dot by now. So, you know, you can look into that. But that's what I went with. And that's pretty much it, guys. That's pretty much the whole gun. It's been a lot of fun. I've had a lot of friends and family shoot it, and they've all enjoyed it. I've never really had any issues with it. The only thing that really would go wrong is eventually you might have to replace the bolt, but those only cost like $35, so it's not that big of a deal. But that's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to run a little bit more footage here at the end, some older footage of the gun. But if you enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate it if you'd subscribe if you're not subscribed already. And if you could like the video, I'd really appreciate it. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.
Production.
The one on the very left of the four, then hit the top one.
The very left, am I doing bottom right?
Yeah.
You're going to do the one to the right of it.
Okay.
No. Top of the spinner.
suck. I suck so bad.